Taz, welcome aboard, Rich. Oh, and you got the whole gang too. Jesse and
hi, Rich.
And Cody.
Hello.
Oh, everyone's here. What is this? Is this a plan? How we're going to get Jay back? Is that it?
You're not going to get Jay back.
All right, Jesse. That's way to be. That's way to be enthusiastic. I thought that's what we got all the gang together for. That's what this is. This is a plan how to get Jay back because he got shot by an alternate version of my son or something in the past. Oh, here we go. Here it comes again. Look, even he doesn't know what's going on anymore. What, you mean that's not what this is about?
Tell us your plan, Rich. Go on, tell us your plan.
Well, what it is Taz has fired Kenny Omega's laser at the planet, and that's put Jay's circulatory system in stasis, and as a result Jay's going to be like immortal, and then we're going to get him to persuade an alternate version of Jacob Fabian's son to go and shoot himself back in the past, and that'll stop him from ever kidnapping Joseph Fabian and shooting Jay in 1988, and then he's going to miraculously reappear in history.
Red Dwarf already did that, Rich. They did it with JFK, Season 7, Episode 1.
Or we could get the robots. The robots could create and build a new Jay that's better than the old Jay, that has all of his memories, and we already rescued him. What? Do you have any idea how hard it is to resurrect somebody who's been erased from history? I had to go to the Marvel dimension and steal a fucking time cube. It's owned by Disney, Rich. Cost $18 for a burger. $18 for a burger. That was in 1988. I dread to think what it's like now, and that's not even with cheese. And when was all this going to happen? It's WrestleMania season, you know. Yeah, well, it's fine. It'd just be like 5 or 6 kind of pre-recorded scenes, and that wouldn't take...
And how long did it take you to do Royal Rumble?
What?
You started writing those skits for Wrestle Kingdom. That was 4 weeks earlier. And while you're writing jokes about steroids in the 80s, the wrestling industry is just crawling on and on and on and on and on, and no core content is coming out.
How many episodes were you thinking of releasing during this WrestleMania period? We kind of moved on to like one a month at the moment. One a month? You know, back in the day when it was Beard and Barrel Power Hour and there wasn't all these voices and spaceships and all of that kind of stuff, you were producing 2 episodes a fucking week. What are you saying?
I think you know what we're saying.
No, it's fine. We're gonna. I'm good. I've got a recording to do of an intro, and then I'm gonna do an advert, and it's gonna be a funny little joke advert, and then there's gonna be something on the side, and then we're gonna do an episode of Where the Fuck Is Taz. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine, and everything's gonna be great.
Rich,
it's not over. We're doing this.
It's not your fault, Rich.
What?
It's not your fault, Rich.
Yo, you shut up.
It's not your fault, Rich.
No, we can make this work.
It's over. Go back to doing wrestling podcasts.
But this is mine.
Look, I get it. You don't know how it started or how it got so far, but you in a world where you had no control, latched onto something that took you off that shithole of a planet during the defining moment of your lifetime, and you had a buddy to take with you, and it gave you a shared experience you controlled for once. But it's stopping you moving forward. Our legacy is stopping you moving forward. And now it's starting to hurt your friends. We've rebooted Jay so many times, it's like he's running on Windows 98.
So what, we just pretend none of this ever happened?
Of course not. You just don't need to turn every single skit that flits into your mind into the days of our fucking lives.
No, I'm already halfway through the next episode. It's already sorted. It's gonna work.
Oh yeah? What's the format?
It's like a true crime podcast, and it's from the perspective of Jacob Fabian, and he's gonna be in search of Jay, and it's gonna be really cool.
So that's your hot take on the wrestling industry, doing a true crime documentary style podcast, something that's never happened in the wrestling industry at all. You're even going off topic.
Have you ever tried to engage with your fans? I engage with my fans all the time. Take Mitch, for example. He's been with us since the beginning. Oh, really? What's his number? Should we call him and ring him up? No. It's not real.
We know it's not real. We've known for a while.
I'm sorry.
Everybody who listens to this podcast knows that he's not real.
I just thought with every new twist and turn in the story, it'd foster engagement, like a big old mystery.
And while you were out there trying to make high art out of sci-fi and combining it with wrestling, how many podcasts came out of nowhere and destroyed you in the ratings in the first few weeks? How many members of the community tried to contact you and engage with you, who have now got thousands upon thousands of fans on Twitter? But you ignored because you were too busy playing with your toys.
More than I've ever counted.
With this type of production, you have the tools to make some of the most interesting wrestling podcasts I've ever heard. But instead of using those skills to build a community you can engage with, you've crawled up your own ass.
Alright, I get it. Well, it's okay. Because we've decided to save the day. We called up our friends in the organization, got hold of the Glove of Russo, decided to end the storyline. What? You can't do that, that's my storyline. Oh, shut the fuck up. So, gonna send you back to the 4th of April, 2021. We've set you up a Twitch, at twitch.tv. Gonna record using that now. So that's twitch.tv/Jfabe Wrestling Podcast. Focus on your core content. Myself, Jesse, all the other characters will be back to check up on you, periodic basis, blah de blah. But yeah, other than that, time to move forward, Rich. Time to move forward. Really? Can't end like this though.
It's not an end. It's a new beginning. It's time you left your old ways behind.
But there's a way back, isn't there?
There's always a way back, Rich. Just get out of your own head. Do a bit of wrestling podcasting.
I love doing this so much. I used to lie awake at night doing this. Because it's so much fun. Dreaming of new adventures and stuff like that. It was amazing. Thank you.
You love doing this too much.
I know. Beam me up, Jesse.
See you on the other side.
Welcome to Jfabe! On Twitch!
Yeah, Jfabe on Twitch.
On Twitch! I'm gonna play some music. I'm gonna play some music to honor the fallen. There we go. I'll do it. There it is! There it is! There it is! Welcome to Jfabe on Twitch. My name is Rich. I'm not a clone or a time duke at the moment. I'm just me. And Jay's here.
Yeah, he's always here. He's there. I'm in the bottom right corner.
That's true. Jay is always here.
I'm just different. I had him out.
What do you say? What do you say, Jay?
No, it's American Boys. I thought he was going to play Stand and Deliver.
Oh, I was going to play Stand and Deliver. But I'm not quite sure whether Twitch will mute us or not, because I've never played Adamant on Twitch before. So, yeah, this is fresh new era for us here on Jfabe. Today we're going to talk about Stand and Deliver Night 1 and Night 2, airing on Wednesday, April the 7th at 8 Eastern, and Thursday, April the 8th, also at 8 Eastern. This is what I look like. If you're looking at us on Twitch, then yeah, that's what's going on. We've got auto mod enabled on this channel. I don't know what that means. I think if someone comes in and swears at us, then the auto mod will kick them out, so that's kind of cool. But we have a chat room on Twitch now. Definitely contact us on the chat room on Twitch, even if you're just going to listen to old episodes and see our beautiful faces. Jay, your face is on Twitch. Is on Twitch right now. And it will be there for the next 14 days. We'll upload onto YouTube on our channel. This is the way that we are going forward. You can get in contact with Jfabe, all of those different channels. We're going to be streamlining those soon. I'm also twitching shoot 'em ups at the moment. I'm Shmupyours on Twitch. Jay is at I am not a robot, where the O's are replaced with T's, but only in the word robot, not in the word not. Because that would be too consistent. And
Zeros.
I'm at not a time duke.
Zeros.
The O's are zeros. Okay. Well, I'm excited because it's our first ever time on Twitch. I bought a new camera for this and everything. Bought a new camera, mate. Everything looks great. I feel great. Do you feel great?
I feel awesome.
Yeah. You feel like we've really turned a corner here. I bet you do. I do. I feel like we've really turned a corner.
We have turned a corner.
We have.
Definitely do feel like we've turned a corner.
Yeah. Excellent. So how was being dead? Again.
Well, it was great. I'm often dead, so it was just like last time, but this time I was frozen. So yeah. It was all good. Yeah, a bit strange.
How do you feel now that the powers that be have told us to?
Dead. I'm alive.
Okay. How do you feel now that the powers that be have told us to stop doing the wrestling podcast with the sci-fi stuff in it, so that we can focus on our core content? Organisation taking over the world, mate. Dave Meltzer and his boys.
Feel kind of alright about it.
Cool.
A bit sad that the stories have to end, but we are moving forward. So let's get on with that.
We are moving forward. Let's get on with it indeed. So first off, gonna take a look at Wikipedia. I am gonna jump into Wikipedia, and the reason I'm doing that is to find out what the card is for Stand and Deliver, so that I can make really awesome predictions about it. So I'm going to search for Stand and Deliver, and that won't bring up somebody else. Stand and Deliver NXT. If I put that in, maybe it'll find the right page. Stand and Deliver Disambiguation. Stand and Deliver NXT Takeover. Stand and Deliver. Here we go. So first off, before we go on to Stand and Deliver, big news coming in this week is, of course, Kota Ibushi losing the IWGP Heavyweight Championship of the World.
To Will Ospreay. I mean, who saw that coming?
I certainly didn't. I mean, Will Ospreay, what the hell?
Well, I mean, he broke away from Chaos, made his own faction, but I thought they would have given it a year or two before they decided to push him up that far, but they've gone straight with it.
Yeah, they've been leading quite heavily for a while with him kind of as their key into the West, which, given the accusations that came out with speaking out, it's an interesting one, isn't it?
It really is.
Because I don't think it's going to have the impact in the West that they're hoping it'll have as a result of those accusations.
Do they think that people in the West are just going to forget about what's happened?
I mean, to be fair, just moving shit there to give myself a bit of a better angle. Well, to be fair,
I think it's
people in the West...
Of an issue. That might be it.
Is the problem that people in the West don't always think it's too much of an issue? I'm going to move it back now. And move it back. There we go. Just in between my little mic stand. Look at that. Look at that. It's like a key of wires. Just seeing it straight off. Straight off, mate. Don't know what this tag's for. I just put it on the other day. Don't know. Maybe.
Moving the camera around.
Yeah, just moving the camera around. We can do that now. We can move the camera around. If you are listening to us at anchor.fm/Jfabe, then things may seem a little bit different as a result of all that. But it's okay. It's okay. You'll get the same core content. Where the fuck is Taz? Taz wanted a bit of a break, but he will be back fairly shortly. So yeah, look forward to some more Where the Fuck is Taz content with Taz. He is at TimeDuke Taz on Twitter. If you search for TimeDuke Taz in space, you can get in contact with Taz himself. And when I say himself, I mean it's a voice I do. I'm just pulling the veil back. I'm pulling it back, Jay. I mean, I know this is going to be shocking, but this is how you foster engagement, mate. Is you just pull back those layers and just say, "Surprise, I'm not a time duke." Do you think Will Ospreay is going to?
Yes, everyone was Everyone thought you were.
It was a convincing impression. They're like, oh, he sounds exactly like a Time Duke would sound. Do you think Will Ospreay, common or garden, not Time Duke, like you'd find in any robot body shop emporium? Do you think Will Ospreay is the right person for them to be leading with into the West? And what does this say to our previous prediction, or my previous prediction, I'll own it, that Kota Ibushi was going to, why have I got a screwdriver in my hand? Kota Ibushi was going to end up fighting Kenny Omega in Kenny Omega's random quest for gold.
Ibushi can still get it back. There is always that opportunity for him to get that back. But normally when someone gets a title, they hold on to it for quite a while before they end up losing it in New Japan Pro Wrestling, so I can't see him having a short stint.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? I could see... So how I would see this story working out if I was writing it and I inherited this story at this point, Kota would again win the G1. He would go on to night 1. He would beat Will Ospreay, and they would have the Kenny Omega match as night 2, and Kenny Omega would take the belt off Ibushi on night 2. That would be it. Or with that,
But why would Kenny be in the title picture? He has to do something to be in the title picture. He can't just turn up and be like, I'm having a title shot.
That's the thing. He's Kenny Omega. He can. And he could very easily lay out that challenge, and Will Ospreay could accept it. And Kenny Omega is more likely to challenge Will Ospreay for the title off his own back than he would Kota Ibushi with the championship. From a character perspective, that works better for Kenny Omega, because we know that at this stage in his career, the Cleaner has always avoided Kota Ibushi. The Cleaner doesn't like interacting with him because Kota Ibushi forces the Cleaner to become the best bout machine. Kenny Omega, good guy, happy guy, smiley guy, goodbye, good night, here's some yaoi chicks to have a fight. Are they called yaoi? Yushi? Yoshi?
He's scared of Kota Ibushi.
Yeah, the Cleaner is scared of Kota Ibushi, but he's not scared of him because he thinks that Kota Ibushi can win. He's scared because he doesn't think he can be the Cleaner against Kota Ibushi. That's always been the case. If you look back to the AJ Styles interaction during Wrestle Kingdom 9, if you look back to the interaction at the G1 Climax when Kota Ibushi appeared backstage for the first time after his excursion, Kenny Omega ran into him, and Kota Ibushi looked at him as if to say, what the fuck are you doing riding with a Bullet Club? And Kenny couldn't even face him. That's the problem. The Cleaner cannot interact with Kota Ibushi and remain the Cleaner because the emotions, the feels are too strong. It hits him right in the feels, mate. And that's the problem that he has.
So, I mean, he's a heel now, so you saying that tells me that when he does face Kota Ibushi, finally faces him, he won't win and turn face again.
That's his choice, really.
Or he'll get over that and kick his ass.
Yeah, he has to go one of two ways. One of them has to pick up the dark side, as it were, and really go for it. One of them really has to either Kota Ibushi needs to tap into that part of him which we know can hurt Kenny Omega physically in many different ways, and that could finally be Kota Ibushi's moment to do that, or Kenny Omega would lose and him and Kota Ibushi would become the Golden Lovers again. Now, as a fan, I would love to see the second option as... Okay, as a fan of wrestling and a fan of the Golden Lovers, I would love to see the second option. As a fan of great narrative, I would love to see the first option. I would love to see Kota Ibushi go darker than Kenny Omega, defeat Kenny Omega, become not just the Golden Star, but the Shooting Star. the one who gets stiff, the next Suzuki, the next Ishii, the next.
Like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
That's what I see. That's what I.
Because you've seen the dark side come out of Ibushi a few times.
Not only that, but this is part of a story that Ibushi has been telling since he was first wrestling with Kenny Omega back in 2011. There was a very famous match versus Ishii back in when was it? Back in G1. I want to say 2014. Where he was incredibly dark, hit that three-way match with Loki that he was involved in. Very, very vicious at points in that as well. That was a while ago, and it has been that case. And then he finally beat Tetsuya Naito with that dark, animalistic, complete and utter no-sell side of himself. So that's
no sell, disregard for the other competitor, complete strong style, stomping on the head repeatedly.
Vicious. That's not the Kota that you'd invite home
Very
to.
vicious.
That's not the Kota you'd invite home to spend some time with Grandma. Definitely not. That's the Kota that you'd avoid in a dark alley. That is Kota going full on Ronin. So I would be very interested in seeing where that goes. Shall we move on to night one of Stand and Deliver, WWE's pay-per-view for the kids down in NXT, for the kids down in NXT, mate. That's what it's for.
For the kids down in NXT.
Yeah.
The first night's taken over the NXT spot, so that's going to be on BT Sport in the UK. And USA Network in the US, is it? Is that wrong?
Fantastic. I mean,
but the second night will be network only.
Network only. That's interesting. So I mean, we know that's not gonna have. We know that's not gonna have any form of racism or anything on it, because Peacock will just jump right on that. Peacock will be right in there. Obviously, I'm referencing.
They will shut it down.
Yeah, they will shut the whole thing down. We're obviously referencing the WWE's recent switch to Peacock, where many people have found that old and slightly risque content is being removed. Some of it is probably about time that it disappeared. Roddy Piper, WrestleMania 6, Vince McMahon at Survivor Series 2003. That was Survivor Series, wasn't it?
Face it.
One of those things that one definitely was one of those things that worked at the time because it looked like liberal attitudes were going a different way. And now it's kind of aged very poorly as a result, I think. Because obviously the prevailing agreement now is that those words aren't okay coming out of a white person's mouth, and every right in the world for people to decide that, as far as I'm concerned.
Wouldn't a lot of Roddy Piper stuff be deleted? Because he wasn't the most PC person in the world, was he?
I think that's the problem that we're going to find, is that. And this is the concern of a lot of people. I'm pretty sure Jim Cornette's made this argument. I know for a fact that other people have made this argument. When you start with the wrestling industry, where do you stop? I think is the question. And for me, I don't think there's any way you can stop, because if you look through. I mean, you could go to WCW and say that Alex Wright's gimmick was offensive to Germans. You could go back to any of the little podunk backwards territories that WWE Network's got on it and say there's something wrong here. I mean, I certainly know some people who would take great offence at Adrian Street, and not because they're Puritans, but because they feel that he is culturally appropriating a certain type of clientele, and that the question is, where does that end? I suppose for me, I don't know.
So basically, what you're saying is what's going to happen is Peacock are just going to delete everything up until WWE went PC,
I would say
and then there'll be no content.
I would say that you're going to
Because
see.
actually, it's true. Loads of that stuff's going to be deleted.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, do you delete Hulk Hogan's matches, for instance?
What? Because they're actually really bad.
No, because he's
We just didn't realise
because he's a racist cunt.
But he is a racist cunt.
And we've just
There's also
we've just definitely confirmed that this is a mature Twitch channel. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the problem, is that you've got the whole of the Attitude Era, and I don't know who it was who made this point, but you have the whole of the Attitude Era currently being rifled through by an intern at NBC who doesn't know the product, doesn't understand the context of the time, and doesn't give a shit about preserving it. Who's just got a tick sheet of things that can and can't be said. Mae Young's hand for the first time on that young intern's face when he wasn't even born then. I would love to be
giving birth to a hand.
I would love to be a fly on the wall during the Choppy Choppy PP episode of Raw. I mean, just seeing his reaction to that. Because these aren't going to board level. These aren't even touching Vince McMahon because he's too busy counting more money. But what can you say? Oh, Jay's fallen over. While Jay rights his ship, we're going to talk about Pete Dunne and Kushida. A match I'm very excited about and I wish could be longer. Jay, thoughts?
Well, I mean, the storyline behind this is who is the best technical wrestler. So you've got Kushida coming in with his complete strong style, his submission-based strong style that it seems to be now, and then you've got Pete Dunne, who's bringing the British style.
This British strong style kind of element.
Technical wrestling. So yeah, exactly. So that means we're just going to get a really good match out of this.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
I think we're going to get a great match out of
Yeah, no, it
this.
should have been higher on the card, for sure.
Definitely.
I think they'll maximise the time.
I think for real wrestling fans, I think definitely it should be higher on the card. And you're not a real wrestling fan. I'm not one of those, but I think people who have been following the sport to the degree that we have, where the style of Kushida and the style of Pete Dunne is such a good match. Like, if this was happening in Progress, I wouldn't have felt I'd got my money's worth out of those two wrestlers unless it went over 30 minutes. And I think that they would feel the same way. New Japan Pro Wrestling could make justice of this, could do justice with it. Can NXT do justice with those two people? Is the question.
Well, it is Takeover, so hopefully we'll be getting Takeover. What is the word I'm looking for? Takeover style matches, because Takeover there, everyone just goes 100%, don't they?
Yeah.
Level matches, yeah, because obviously for some Takeovers we did not get that. It's picked up recently. The product's picked up recently. It's definitely watchable now. Because for a few weeks it wasn't.
And definitely for both of these superstars, this is their first real go at a WrestleMania payday, effectively. I mean, it's probably not going to be the same as if they're in MetLife, but it's going to be their yearly equivalent of a WrestleMania payday, which will probably be a lot more money than Kushida would have seen outside of Wrestle Kingdom yearly. And definitely it'll be a lot more money than Pete Dunne's been offered in his lifetime. Probably outside of All Japan anyway. Did he go to All Japan or was it Noah? He spent a brief time in those, but I can't remember him being big. So yeah, I'm hoping it goes longer than 15 minutes. For me, it's a win if it goes longer than 15 minutes. And I have no concern about the quality of match that those two superstars can put out. MSK, which is Wesley and Nash Carter, will face the grizzled young veterans James Drake and Zach Gibson, along with Legado del Fantasma, that's Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wilde, in a triple threat tag team match for the vacant NXT Tag Team Championship. Now, you're going to have to catch me up on NXT because the last thing I watched from NXT was in October. Spooktober! That's going to become a thing. Just you wait until the end of September. What happened to the tag team titles? Why are they vacant? What's going on there? What's the crack, Jay? What's the crack? In our new section, what's the crack? Jay.
Well, this is a new section I had no idea about. So basically,
I would play you.
So only Law
I would play your ukulele thing, but oh, we can do this on Twitch, by the way. Because it's not that formal. But look, fucking fucked up the string, mate. I was doing the chorus of the bottom string. You see it? It's missing, mate. Well unhappy. Snapped off while I was doing the chorus of Alexander Hamilton. Because I really like to battle. I like to rattle that out. Yeah. Sorry. Go. What's the crack?
So basically, Martin Stone is his name in the UK. For some reason, his name escapes me for NXT, but he's got an injury, so he had to vacate the titles.
What, just him?
So this is how this match came about. Yeah, so obviously only Lorcan can't defend the tag team titles by himself.
That makes sense. That is a shame.
So what they've had to do is vacate the championships, and now this match came about. That's how this match came about, basically.
Fair play. What do you reckon is going to happen?
For me, I think the Grizzled Young Veterans should take it because, what's it now? 2 times they've been runners up in the District Cup Championship. They proved James Drake has come over leaps and bounds since going into the American NXT for sure. He can actually cut a promo now, which is great because then he can obviously be beside Zach Gibson while he's doing his stuff, and then he can add to that instead of just standing there nodding all the time. So that's great. I've always had a problem with James Drake, but now I don't, and his wrestling capabilities is much better. But with these 3, you've got the more technical capability coming out of the Grizzled Young Veterans to counteract the high-flying style of MSK and also Del Fantasma. So it's going to be a good contrast.
Yeah, I think... So I think the Grizzled Young Veterans, for me, I think it's their time. I think they need that. I am ready for the Grizzled Young Veterans to really make a splash on a larger stage.
Make a stamp.
Exactly. I think Zach Gibson in particular is a massive win for WWE just whenever he's on screen. I think Triple H is probably...
Really single run.
Yeah. I think the thing is Triple H is really looking forward to just seeing him in the ring. I think Vince McMahon is seeing that tag team and saying Zach Gibson could be the next Sheamus, which is really fucking sad, but I know that that's what he's thinking.
Well, no, he can be the first Zach Gibson because
I know that.
A completely different style of Sheamus.
I know that. You know that. Triple H knows that. Vince McMahon doesn't know that.
But Vince does not know that.
He sees.
Does he think Zach Gibson's Irish as well?
He sees a gobby person from across the pond. You know full well that the first thing Vince McMahon's going to do is stop him from speaking and then try and rebrand him as either Scottish, Irish, or English born and bred. So he's either going to be Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, or William Regal. That's
I mean, with William Regal, he's got a more similar style to William Regal.
And Vince McMahon will just hear the same. He'll hear that accent and think, "That's exactly the same as William Regal's. He sounds like he's from exactly the same city. He's got to be William Regal's. Let's make him William Regal's son." And the next thing you know, that's what it'll be.
He's not scouts at all.
That's Vince McMahon for you. He was a guy who sat on sat on the exalted one because he didn't want he didn't think that he should open his mouth if he hadn't got a good southern accent. So yeah, he demanded he talk southern, and then when he couldn't, and when he said I can't talk southern, he said of course you can, look at you. And then off he went, tried to talk southern. He said you can't talk, never gave him a mic again. So yeah, not that anyone was bitter coming out of that, apart from everyone. Yeah, I think they're taking it. Wesley and Nash Carter, I haven't really seen. Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wilde, I think. Legado del Fantasma.
Oh, you're in for a treat then, MSK. That fire.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I like what they do in NXT with the tag team division. It's one of my favourite parts of NXT. I know that it's not quite AEW's tag team division.
Exactly. Didn't they have a better tag team division because they really focused on that when AEW had a focus on the tag team division? So it was like they're trying to counteract that in their own programming, but with them moving to Tuesdays, they don't really need to do that anymore.
I mean, will we see this kind of all peter out over that time? Who knows? It depends very much who is working backstage at the time, because we know full well that NXT is going to change hands within the next few months, because everything changes hands after SummerSlam, after WrestleMania, once the ratings drop and Vince McMahon panics. So we never know who's going to end up in charge of NXT by SummerSlam. But hopefully, whoever it is will be a fan of tag team wrestling. Fingers crossed. Leon Ruff, Isaiah Swerve Scott, Bronson Reed, Cameron Grimes, Dexter Lumis, LA Knight. These aren't names of particularly seedy nightclubs, but in fact the 6 competitors in the 6-man gauntlet eliminator match to determine the number 1 contender for the NXT North American Championship on night 2, which is match number 3 on the card. Thoughts on this one? I mean, this could technically be anybody's, apart from Cameron Grimes, who's obviously going to get his ass kicked by Dexter Lumis.
I mean, this type of match is actually quite good. 6-man gauntlet eliminator style. Have you seen one of these before, Rich?
Yeah, these are the type where two people start off and then the winner stays on, right?
I think they've switched up it slightly.
Okay. Let's just quickly give it a little... Oh, I'm clicking on the wrong thing. There we go. So that will be... So it's just linked to the match types. Gauntlet for the... So is it like Gauntlet for the Gold style? Ooh, Crybaby match. Did you see that? Cry loser would have to... Oh, yeah. Jailhouse match.
Yeah.
I like these. They've like got all of these stipulation based...
Well, but yes, you're right, Rich. That's exactly what it is.
Ah, perfect. So if that is what it is, then the funny thing is, out of all of these people, I know that the one person who can last for well over an hour in that entire list is Cameron Grimes. On the Indies, he had 70 to 90 minute matches. He was famous. He was once known as the 2-hour man, I believe. He has had some absolute belters. I could see them perhaps using him to elevate somebody else by having him come in first. Then bout number 5, Dexter Lumis is the one who finally takes him down, and then
Dexter Lumis for the win, clearly.
You reckon?
To this storyline, him kidnapping. Why are all the names gone out of my head?
Because all the names are practically the same. Right, this is the problem with NXT. They have the same...
Who's the other guy in the way with Johnny Gargano? What is his name? He went up to Raw.
All the names are in front of you, Jay.
Seth Rollins' group. He's not on there.
Well, if he's not in the match, he can't win it.
Austin Theory.
Austin
So,
Theory, yeah.
Dexter Lumis kidnapped Austin Theory.
Okay.
Dexter Lumis has been basically on Johnny Gargano's back for quite a few weeks now.
Okay.
So I see him winning and moving on to the second night.
Of course, to face Johnny Gargano for the gauntlet elimination. That's fair. In that case, I think it makes sense from a storytelling perspective that Cameron Grimes will be the last one in with Dexter Lumis, because obviously his reaction to Dexter Lumis is so hilarious every time. So that's been established. I think we'll get some good stuff out of Swerve, and I think we'll get some really good stuff out of Leon Ruff. And yeah, there's
everyone in there, great wrestlers. I think I've said that in a private conversation with you that Ed Knight his time's passed. He should have joined 5 years ago to NXT. He shouldn't have gone to NWA. And now he's trying to make up for the loss, but I don't think it will happen.
I don't know. I mean, the glitz and glamour of the NWA, you know, Billy Corgan's land of dreams. So match I'm looking forward to is Walter versus... sorry, the delay there played on us.
Billy Corgan was great in the TNA, and the stuff that he touched was gold, but on NWA is just not a great TV.
I like melancholy and infinite sadness. So Walter will face Tommaso Ciampa. Jay, thoughts on Walter versus Tommaso Ciampa? This for me. Walter.
Match of the night.
Yeah, sorry, my inner Nigel McGuinness is showing there. Walter. So yeah, Walter versus Tommaso Ciampa, definitely going to be match of the night. It's actually one that I am looking forward to the most on this card. I think mostly just to see Walter in an NXT ring defending the United Kingdom Championship, because that's not something we see often enough, and definitely isn't something we've seen often enough within the last year. I've been vastly disappointed in the pandemic and the fact that we haven't seen as much Walter as I'd like, and he hasn't been up against very many reasonable contenders for his position since
Tommaso Ciampa.
I want to say Ilja Dragunov was probably the last person I can think of that had a reasonable shot.
They always have good matches, that's the thing. Always have good matches.
Ilja Dragunov could have a good match with anyone.
He's never had a win against Walter.
And it's a fair point, and I think Ilja has that ability to make Walter look like an absolute killer, and it's definitely paid dividends. I would say
for sure, but you've also got a competitor now like Dragunov, who will give it back to Walter, and I have it on good source of Alex Gracie that Walter doesn't like being hit.
Walter doesn't like being hit.
He doesn't know.
No. So
no, he likes to give it, but he can't take it.
Oh really? And that's you're definitely happy with us saying which wrestler told you that?
I think I just did already.
Excellent. So there you go, Walter. If you are listening, don't forget to kill that guy. No, I'm joking. We like Alex. He's a friend of the show. Definitely editing that out of the highlight reel. Yeah, so who do you think's winning this? Is this going to be a case of winning? Is he though?
I would say so. Apparently we're getting the black card, we're getting Tommaso Ciampa of old coming into this match. So Tommaso Ciampa NXT Takeover level, it's going to be fire, but I don't see him winning.
Yeah, that's fair. For me, I think the story to tell there is Because with Walter, the story can always be, it's just not enough. You know, the guy's so big, and the guy is such a mastodon in the ring that it's very often a case of you put anyone against Walter, they give him everything, and then the story they just have to tell is it is not enough. And that's it. That's all it needs. And Tommaso Ciampa pulling out everything he possibly can, including going back to those extreme days of his feud with Johnny Gargano, or even his earlier work as that dude getting chokeslammed by The Undertaker. You know, those great pieces of classic Tommaso Ciampa work that the WWE have shown us. You know, but no, seriously, I think that him just throwing everything he can at Walter and still walking away the loser will continue to make Walter look fucking great. And that's what you need with Walter, especially considering that for a lot of the fans who are tuning into this, the last real glimpse of Walter that they had on that level, with a performer of that level, was him being the first to be eliminated at Survivor Series.
Yeah, that was really strange for him to be out first. Even the crowd was like, "Hey, what's going on here?" And maybe
I would say that wasn't.
You may have involved what? He looked weak, very weak.
I would say that was a political decision on Vince McMahon's side. I mean, we all know that call came from McMahon. It certainly didn't come from anyone other than McMahon, and it was very much a case of we can't let a UK guy beat any of these guys because these are on our A show. That's what it was. It was Raw versus SmackDown, but like 4 rungs down the ladder. You know, he probably would have got better out of a 205 guy.
I guess Walter was happy to do the job.
I think the amount of money that Walter's getting to be there,
but just did it anyway.
Yeah, I think the amount of money that Walter gets to be there, I think he'll be happy to do whatever. And it's so rare that he does actually take a pin that, you know, it's probably a bit of a novelty for him to end the night early. And then the main event on night 1, Io Shirai, Raquel Gonzalez with Dakota Kai. Singles match for the NXT Women's Championship. Women's Championship. That's the plural. How's this going to go, Jay? As a fan of
Either
female wrestling, you go nuts, mate. Go nuts.
Go nuts, mate. So the way I see this going is either Raquel goes over, excuse me, very clean in this match, and she's clearly been dominating Io Shirai backstage, or Dakota Kai is going to turn on her partner because she feels like she deserves the opportunity, and Raquel Gonzalez turns face.
Okay. That would make sense.
Like they're my 2 predictions.
Yeah, I mean, something has to come out of this Dakota Kai situation at this point, I would say.
Because at the moment she's taking a back seat.
Yeah,
and when she turned heel, that she didn't want to take a back seat anymore when she first turned heel. So why would that part of her character now just not be there anymore? So it would make sense for her to turn on Raquel.
Oh, it's that one. Yeah, I would say so. I would definitely say so. It's an interesting one. I can't see them taking the belt off Io Shirai. I think they see money.
Had the championship for a while.
She has, but I think they see money in her. I think that's why she's had it for a while. I think that they might even go so far as to have her drop it to someone from the main roster at some point, and use that as a way of getting her up. That happens a lot more in the women's scene. So I don't know. I've just got this feeling that Io Shirai can only really lose it to Charlotte, probably. because of course Charlotte needs to go in and shit on everyone periodically. Is nearly time for a it's nearly time for a yearly bowel movement where she goes over to NXT and just takes a shit on the roster.
She beat Charlotte and Rhea Ripley in a triple threat match.
Yeah,
in your house.
So
to get the title, and that was last year.
Both of those people owe her, and I think considering the way that the women's scene still works, I just have a feeling that there's going to be a receipt somewhere involving that title, and I think they're just waiting for the time when that would make sense. But that's just...
Well, Rhea Ripley is off to WrestleMania to face Asuka, so...
Well, yeah, so it could be anything. If Asuka beats Rhea Ripley, then Rhea Ripley might just go for Io Shirai. Alternatively, Charlotte might. Or maybe I'm just barking up the wrong tree here. Maybe it is just, water under the bridge and, just going to carry on. I'd be interested to see whatever way it goes, if I'm to be honest. Saying that, that's the end of night one.
Well, goodbye, everybody.
No, we are just kidding, because there is indeed a night 2, and we are going to take a look at that right now. Night 2, April the 8th. Ember Moon, Shotzi Blackheart versus The Way, Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. And before we do this, actually, do we feel a bit like a break?
I was going to suggest a little bit of a break.
Yeah, I don't have a break thing set up yet, so everybody enjoy images of me playing Caravan Mode on Star Soldier for the TurboGrafx and advertising my channel. Be back in 5.
A little bit of cross promotion.
A little bit of cross promotion, there you go.